Okay, so today we're going to do a deep dive into LLCs in Indiana.
Okay.
We know that you are thinking about starting a business in Indiana, and so we figured it would be good to kind of talk through and understand all of the ins and outs of forming an LLC
Sure.
in the state.
Happy to help.
So to help us do that, we have an expert here with us today.
Yes, I am a business attorney here in Indiana. I work with lots of entrepreneurs, helping them get their businesses up and running, including forming LLCs.
Awesome. So I guess to start off, let's talk about some of the most common questions that you get from entrepreneurs who are thinking about forming an LLC.
Yeah, so the most common question I get right off the bat is, what are the benefits of an LLC? And usually what they're really asking is, how does an LLC protect me? How does it protect my personal assets? So we talk about liability protection and how an LLC in Indiana can really create that separation between the business and your personal assets.
So it's like a safety net
It is.
for entrepreneurs.
It is, yeah. It's peace of mind knowing that. If something happens in the business, your house, your car, your personal bank account are protected. They can't come after those things.
Okay, cool. So what else are people wondering about?
Taxes are a big one. A lot of folks want to know, how does forming an LLC affect my taxes? And that's where I explain that Indiana LLCs have some flexibility.
Okay.
You can choose to be taxed as a sole proprietorship, a partnership, or even a corporation, depending on what your structure is, what makes the most sense for your business.
So you kind of get to pick and choose a little bit.
You do.
Which one works best for your situation?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
It's all about finding the right fit
Yeah.
for your business.
Okay, so what about the actual process of actually forming the LLC?
Yeah, so that's another common question. How do I actually do this?
Yeah.
And so we go through the steps, like choosing a business name,
Right.
drafting an operating agreement, and then filing something called the Articles of Organization with the state.
Okay, now hold on a sec. You just mentioned articles of organization and operating agreements.
Right.
Could you break those down a little
Yeah.
bit? Because for somebody who's brand new to this world, those might sound kind of intimidating.
They can, yeah. Think of the Articles of Organization as your LLC's birth certificate. It's the official document that says this LLC exists.
Okay.
In the eyes of the law, it includes things like your business name, its address, the purpose of your business, that kind of stuff. Now, the operating agreement, think of that like your LLC's rule book. This document really outlines how the LLC is going to be managed.
Okay.
How will you share profits? What happens if a member wants to leave? All those nitty-gritty details go into the operating agreement.
That makes a lot of sense. So it's kind of like the governing document
Like
of the business.
serious. Yes, exactly.
Okay, so you also mentioned before that there are some ongoing requirements
Yeah.
keeping your LLC compliant, right?
That's right.
So what are some of those?
So one of the ongoing requirements is having a registered agent.
Okay, and what does a registered agent do?
A registered agent is your LLC's point of contact in Indiana. They're responsible for receiving legal documents and official notices on behalf of your LLC.
So like a mailbox.
Yeah, you can think of them like your LLC's mailbox. But it's really important to choose a registered agent who's reliable and available during business hours. Because if you miss an important legal notice or tax document, it could have consequences.
Makes sense. So you got to make sure they're on the ball.
Absolutely.
Now, what about annual reports?
Yes, so in Indiana, LLCs also have to file an annual report with the Secretary of State's office. This report basically updates the state on any changes to your LLC's information, like your registered agent or your business address.
Okay.
It's how the state keeps its records accurate and ensures your LLC remains in good standing.
Cool. So I've heard about some services that claim to handle LLC formation in Indiana for free.
Yes.
It sounds almost too good to be true. What's the catch?
Well, services like Inc. Authority, they can be a great option for entrepreneurs who are just starting out, especially if you're on a tight budget. They'll help you streamline the filing process. They take care of all the paperwork. They submit it to the state for you.
Sounds pretty good.
Can be.
So are there any downsides or trade-offs?
Well, the main thing to keep in mind is that free usually covers the basics. They might charge extra for things like expedited filing
Right.
or getting a certified copy of your documents. And usually these services don't provide personalized legal advice.
Okay.
They handle the standard filing procedures, but they might not address any specific or complex issues.
Gotcha. So even if you use a free service, getting some legal guidance could still be a good idea.
Absolutely.
To protect yourself.
A business attorney can help you tailor your operating agreement to meet your specific needs and advise you on things like taxes and other potential legal issues.
That makes sense. So just to recap, we talked about the most common questions that entrepreneurs have when forming an LLC. We demystified some key terms like articles of organization and operating agreements. We also explored the role of the registered agent and the importance of staying compliant with annual reports. We also examined those free LLC formation services. Now, knowing all this, what aspects of forming an LLC in Indiana are still on your mind? What feels unclear? What further questions do you have? Take your time, do your research, and don't hesitate to reach out to an expert for guidance as you move forward with your new business venture. That wraps up our deep dive into forming an LLC in Indiana. We hope this was helpful, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.